Rain lashed down hard on the narrow cobbled streets of a small northern town. Puddles mirrored the shaky glow of old orange street lamps. As Ellie, a 17-year-old lass with a head full of dreams, trudged slowly home, she hugged her battered sketchbook tight to her chest, pages all tatty and worn, but every one bursting with the fire of her imagination. Ellie lived with her mum and little brother in a cramped, damp terraced house that had seen better days. Her dad had passed when she was just 10, leaving behind a pile of debts and memories that still stung. Money was always tight, proper skint, most weeks. Her mum pulled long shifts at the local sewing factory, barely scraping enough to keep the lights on and food on the table. But Ellie had something money couldn't touch, a spirit that refused to be broken. At school she was quiet, often off in her own world, sketching away in her notebook. While the others messed about and nattered, teachers spotted her talent, but they'd sigh and shake their heads when anyone asked about her future. Art won't pay the bills, love, they'd say. You need a proper job round here. But Ellie's dreams stretched way beyond just getting by. She wanted to paint, to create worlds, to show everyone the stories she carried inside. She wanted to prove that a girl from a forgotten little town, armed with nothing but grit and heart, could do something bloody amazing. That night, after a quick tea of beans on toast, she sat by the single bulb in the living room. Mum had already collapsed into bed, knackered from another 12-hour slog. Ellie flipped open her sketchbook and started to draw. Each line felt like letting go, each splash of color a tiny spark of hope. She painted her dreams, soaring above the clouds, strolling through grand galleries, watching crowds stop and stare at her work. Someday, she whispered into the quiet, they'll see me. They'll see I was made for more than this. Next morning at school, they announced a big art competition up in the city. The prize? A full scholarship to the Royal Academy schools. A chance she'd only ever dared imagine. Her heart hammered like mad. This was it. Her shot to prove everyone wrong. But when she told her mum just looked tired and sad. Ellie, pet, we've not got the cash for the train fare. Never mind paints, canvas, or the entry fee. She spoke gently. Maybe it's best to stick to your GCSEs. Help me out at weekends. This sort of thing's for posh kids, not us. Ellie's fingers gripped the sketchbook harder. She could have packed it in right there. Could have settled for the life laid out for her. But something stubborn inside said no. No, Mum, she said, voice steady. I'll sort it. I have to give it a go, even if the whole bloody world says I can't. I'm not packing my dreams away. Over the next few weeks, Ellie grafted like mad. She took any job going. Washing pots at the chippy, tutoring the year 7s in maths, even flogging her little handmade sketches door to door. Every quid went straight into a jam jar labeled dream. Folk in town took the mick. Why bother, lass? You'll never make it. But Ellie tuned them out. She drew, painted, practiced. Every spare second. Nights by the dim living room light. Mornings before the school bus. Sketching moors and faces. Her hands grew surer. Her eye sharper. Her ideas bolder. Finally the day came. She'd scraped together enough for the entry fee. She packed her portfolio, each piece carrying a bit of her heart, and caught the train to the city, nerves jangling with hope and terror. In the big hall with hundreds of others, she felt tiny. The rest had fancy brushes, shiny folders, designer trainers. Ellie's clothes were plain Primark. Her shoes scuffed to bits. She felt like a ghost among all the shine. But as she set out her work, she told herself, talent doesn't give a toss about money. Dreams don't wait for permission. Courage just barges right in. Her painting, a raw story of hardship, hope and unbreakable will. Caught eyes straight away. Judges leaned in, murmuring to each other. Some faces lit up in surprise, others in quiet respect. Ellie felt a warm glow inside. She'd poured everything into those brushstrokes. And for once, someone was actually looking. She headed home that evening, shattered but buzzing. She didn't know the result yet, but she knew one thing for sure. She'd had the bottle to try, when most would have walked away. And sometimes, having a go is the first crack in changing everything. The next morning she was up, before the alarm, heart thumping with nerves and excitement. Today she'd hand in her final piece for judging. Every step through the busy city streets felt heavier. She clutched her portfolio, like it might vanish. When she reached the hall, it felt like another planet. Huge banners of past winners, posh young artists staring down confidently. The place hummed with chatter, posh accents, the rustle of expensive paper. Ellie took a massive breath. She told herself, "I'm here because I dared to dream big. I'm here because I refused to quit." She set her painting on the board carefully. The judges moved down the line, eyes sharp and picky. She watched them pause at hers. One, a serious bloke with specs, leaned right in. He tilted his head, muttered to the others. The woman next to him gave a small smile. Hope flickered in Ellie's chest. Could they actually see it? The soul she'd painted in? Hours dragged. She wandered the hall, glancing at other work. Some pieces were stunning, polished, pro-level. Doubt crept in. Am I really good enough? Then the announcement boomed. Contestants, first round judging begins now. Her stomach flipped. This was it. Had all the late nights, the scrimping, the graft been worth it? Names were called one by one. Artists stepped up to explain their pieces. When Ellie Thompson rang out, she walked forward on shaky legs. She breathed deep and started. "This painting," she said, pointing, "is about struggle, about hope, about not letting dreams die. I come from a little town up north. Not much money. Folk saying I'd never make it. But I wouldn't listen. Every mark here is me refusing to give in." She met their eyes. And she saw it. Real respect. A spark of something warm. One judge nodded slowly. Another smiled properly. Later the shortlist came. Ellie's name was on it. She'd made the final. Her pulse raced. Now the live round. For hours to create something brand new. Right in front of them all. The pressure was crushing. Others looked cool as cucumbers. Ellie felt her chest tighten like a vice. But she remembered every battle won. The candlelit nights. The chippy shifts. The sneers from neighbors. And she knew she had to go all in. When her brush hit the canvas first time, everything slowed. Every color, every line, carried her whole story. A girl who wouldn't let life decide for her. Others glanced over. Whispers started. "She's only 17, look at that." Time flew. Sweat stung her eyes. Hands cramped. But when she stepped back at last, the judges clustered round. They looked, murmured, then nodded, proper approval. Ellie's heart lifted. She'd done it. She'd stared down the impossible. And held her own. When they announced the winners, the hall went dead quiet. Second place. Highly commended. Then the big one. And first place in this year's National Young Artists Competition. Ellie Thompson. The place exploded in claps and cheers. Tears burned her eyes. She'd smashed it. Defied every doubter, every barrier, and right then she knew. Her sheer bottle had changed her life. And maybe sparked something. In everyone watching. Winning flipped everything overnight. The girl who used to walk to school, in hand-me-downs, was suddenly packing for the Royal Academy schools in London. Excitement bubbled up, mixed with a quiet fear, leaving Mum, her brother, the familiar streets. At the station her mum held her so tight. "I'm that proud of you, love," she whispered. Tears everywhere. Never let anyone tell you you can't, alright? Ellie smiled through her own tears. I won't, Mum. Promise. This is only the start. London hit her like a brick. Towering buildings. Endless crowds. The rush of it all made her feel tiny. But she refused to shrink. She reminded herself. Every massive dream starts with one small, brave step. And she'd already taken loads. At the academy she met kids from everywhere. Lots from well-off families. Private lessons since they were tiny. Top kit. Ellie had taught herself mostly. Library books. YouTube. Pure blood-minded practice. Some whispered behind hands. How'd she even get in? She's not one of us. But Ellie didn't let it faze her. She just grafted harder. Late nights in the studio. Trying mad new techniques. Mixing colors in ways no one else had. Her first critiques were brutal. Professors picking holes she'd never spotted. Some nights she wanted to jack it in. Thinking she didn't belong. But then she'd remember the competition. The exhaustion, the belief. And she knew. Real talent isn't just brush skill. It's refusing to quit. Months passed. Slowly her confidence built. Her style honest, emotional, alive. Started turning heads. Professors noticed. Classmates too. She wasn't just hanging on. She was shining. One day a famous art critic came round. He stopped dead at her canvas. Eyes wide. Turned to the tutor. This is something special, he said. She's got real fire. What's her story? The tutor grinned. She's the lass who beat the odds. Chased her dream when everyone said no. Proper courage. Ellie felt pride and a bit of shy awe. This wasn't just about paint. It was her whole journey. Her fights. Her never-give-up heart. City life was tough still. She missed home. The quiet moors. Mum's tea. Cash was tight. She juggled bar work to pay her way. Lonely nights came. Doubts whispered. But every knock just made her more determined. Every tiny win fed the fire. She learned. Dreams aren't handed out in comfort. They're forged in the hard stuff. Her story started lifting others too. Younger students facing their own wobbles. Looked to her like proof it could be done. Teachers gave her group leads. Soon she wasn't just making art. She was helping others believe they could too. Then came the next huge chance. A national exhibition for young talent. With international eyes watching. She'd have to make her boldest piece yet. Under massive pressure. Ellie knew. This was her moment. She'd come too far to bottle it now. Exhibition day arrived. The grand hall thrummed. Critics, gallery bosses, press, artists from everywhere. Ellie carried in her biggest work. A canvas that told her whole life. The struggle, the hope. The sheer refusal to break. Her heart thumped with thrill, not terror. She thought of the girl sketching. By a single bulb. In a cold terraced house. Every extra shift. Every sleepless night. Every you'll never make it. All of it led here. As critics walked the rows. Whispers grew. That one, unreal. She's so young, how? The top judge stopped at hers. Studied every mark. Looked straight at her. Eyes full of wonder. Then he spoke to the room. This isn't just painting. This is courage on canvas. Perseverance. The human spirit in color. This young woman has made something. That reaches right into you. Tears stung Ellie's eyes. She'd done it. Not just for her. But for anyone ever told. Their dreams were daft. That evening the announcement came. First place. Her painting headed for an international gallery. Claps thundered. Flashes popped. Questions flew. The once invisible girl was suddenly seen. Cheered. Celebrated. But the real win wasn't the prize. It was the road. Proof that sheer determination can smash any wall. Her story went viral. Papers, TV. Socials full of the northern lass who wouldn't quit. Young artists messaged her. Sharing their own fights. Asking how she kept going. A few weeks later she went home. The streets looked smaller, but warmer somehow. Kids ran up shouting her name. She visited the old school. Gave a short talk. Your background doesn't write your ending. Your dreams belong to you. Chase them no matter what anyone says. Courage isn't never feeling scared. It's doing it anyway. Don't give up. Your turn's coming. Just like mine did. Her mum hugged her fierce. Tears of pure pride. I always knew you had it in you, she whispered. Ellie smiled, feeling a deep, steady warmth. She hadn't just grabbed her dreams. She'd lit a fire. For a whole generation to believe. The girl who once felt like nothing had rewritten her story. And shown that fate isn't set in stone. It's shaped by guts, graft, and flat-out refusal to quit. And from then on, Ellie kept painting, kept inspiring, kept chasing bigger things. She never forgot the little house, the hard days, the candlelit dreams. Every time she lifted a brush, she remembered the words that carried her through. Impossible just means not tried hard enough yet.